So this is just a quick reminder of narrative writing. So here is our anchor chart, which we did in class, and you should have added to your writer's notebook. So remember, the purpose of a narrative writing assignment is to tell a story. You as the author are telling a story. You need to include the same things that we include when we do step 1, retell. So what do you include when you retell something? You include characters, setting, events, problem, solution. Those are the same things that you include in your retell because it is what makes the story. So when you're writing a story, it only makes sense to add those things to your story. So the events are part of the plot. And then you can see how we have next to that plot, let me pull up my pen really quickly. You can see how we have next to that plot right here, the kind of plot chart. So that is where we kind of go along with our story, we build up to the climax, and then there's the climax, and then the solution and the end of the story. So that's something important to take a look at. Also, remember that when you are writing something that you have to have a theme, a main idea. What's the purpose of your story? And we'll talk more about that when we get further into it. The last thing is making sure that we include this right here, the dialogue. The dialogue is people speaking. Whether you write in third person or first person, we are always going to include dialogue in our narrative writing. And again, we will go over what that looks like and how to punctuate it correctly when we get further into the writing process. As sixth graders, we are no longer writing simple, basic stories. You guys started learning how to write narratives a long time ago when you started in kindergarten writing about your dog or your vacation and drawing a picture to go with it. So now that we're getting older, we're really going to focus right here on some key elements. One of those key elements is character development. We want to make sure that our characters are making sense, right? We want to make sure that our characters are somebody we can relate to. We want to develop a good character. We are also going to develop a plot. We've all watched those movies that when you're done watching the movie, you think to yourself, what did I just watch? What just happened? Nothing happened, right? And it feels like you just wasted an hour and a half of your time watching nothing. We do not want that for our stories. That happens sometimes. You tell a story, but not a lot really happens in that story. So we want a really good plot. And by doing that, we're going to tell the whole story. We're going to tell an entire story, beginning, middle, and end. Most of the time when you write, you have a beginning, middle, and end, but one of them gets shortchanged. You don't have a full conclusion to your story, or you don't have an ending. It just is kind of abrupt. This happens, the end. So we're really going to focus on those 3 key elements in our narratives that we write this time for the grading period, because that's going to what makes a better story for 6th grade. So again, this is just a reminder of that narrative writing anchor chart, and you should have this written down in your writer's notebook. So hopefully it can help you out a little bit when we start writing our stories.